TV's Rick Blood is here.
Rick Blood. Rick Blood.
Rick Blood. Breathe live.
Hey, that's cool.
Exciting episode of Unfiltered. A lot of stuff this week. Andrea actually filled 2 folders for me. This week, blue. Let's start with sad stuff. All right? And as always, the day after we filmed last week is when everything happened. Walter Cronkite passed on. He had spent, I thought I heard, 56 years in broadcasting. His first news report was, I believe, 1952 or 56, I think, or 52. But the news people actually came up with the term anchorman for him. He was like the first anchor of a show. So. Funeral services were held at St. Bartholomew's in New York on Thursday, and he'll be buried in his home state of Missouri. He was 92 years old, which, because we film on Thursday, so they didn't have all-day coverage of his funeral. You know, I haven't heard constant news reports on Walter Cronkite's death for a week. Meanwhile, more stories about Michael Jackson are surfacing. For instance, he may have had a 4th child, and he may have had lupus. And let's see, there was a couple of days where nobody knew where the body was. And there's a big fight about that. The father and Jermaine want him buried in Neverland, and the mother wants him buried in, I guess, that Green Lawn Cemetery out there in California or whatever. But huge fight over that. In other death news, this is a very sad one, because Gidget, the Taco Bell dog, died. 15 years old. And what I can't understand is why they told anybody. Why didn't they just throw another Chihuahua out there and use the same voice? I mean, as it is, I'm thinking about suing them for false advertisement, because I always thought that dog was a boy. But it's not, it's a girl. Taco Bell doing a little bit of transgender kind of flip-flop with their little promotional star.
Well, they're not the first ones. Lassie was actually a girl, and I think there was like 2 or 3 of them.
But Lassie is a girl's name. Anyway.
Well, Lassie was a boy supposed to be a girl? That's what it was.
Oh, okay, that might have been, maybe Lassie was a boy, but he played a girl on TV.
Right, cross-dresser.
See? You'll watch that, Bruce, but you won't watch a damn drag show.
Lassie doesn't give me nightmares.
See, what if you ever got attacked by that? That was another story I saw today. This lady, can't remember where it was, but she was walking her little miniature pincher or something, some kind of one of them little dogs, and she was attacked by a police German Shepherd who managed to get out of his yard. And the little puppy had something wrong with his leg because he had him all bandaged up, and the lady had like this huge bite mark on her mouth. And you know, that's a good lawsuit. And speaking of lawsuits, I don't even have a card for this one, but I was arguing with my mother. What's new? And we were talking about the whole Free State stuff. You know, she thinks these guys are just like out of their minds and they're doing all this stuff just, to cause a scene. Well, yeah, that's what activists do. They cause a scene, and it gets people upset. Sam Dodson spent, 58 days in the county farm on us because he wouldn't tell the police officer his name. That's it, on us. And we're not all that upset about it because 2 weeks later, they locked up Dave Ridley for the same thing, filming in the courthouse. It's not like they were hitting people over the head with their cameras. They were just filming, making the public aware of what goes on inside that building. Here's the real cool thing. Cheshire TV is airing a little address that Sam Dodson gave up there at Porkfest this year. And in that address, he makes mention of a possible civil suit against the county and the city of Keene for wrongful imprisonment. This is where it gets kind of weird, and this is where the normal taxpayer should get a little upset. Because if he wins this case, the average payout for wrongful imprisonment is $79,000 per day. He's looking at a $4.5 million suit that we will pay for. Are you pissed yet? Better get pissed, because if this shit keeps going, and there's no damn reason why he shouldn't be able to film in a courtroom. The criminal's rights is right out the window. They publish all those court cases in the newspaper. But let's show the public these people. If you've got somebody that's been arrested 15 times for DWI, and your prosecutor keeps dropping the charges, and you see that all the time in these court cases. Charges dropped at prosecutor's request. Well, if you're going to do that, don't even bother writing the tickets. It's just one more damn step. But, no, I just thought that, it's real upsetting, because if he wins, it's not the cop that arrested him that's going to take that money out of his pocket. It's not the judge that's going to take that out of his pocket. It's us. We're all going to take it out of our pockets. And little sawed-off Governor Lynch will see to that. He's racking on the taxes. I saw him talking about something, and I'm at the point now where when I see Lynch's face come on TV, I just go into another zone. It's like he's not even there. But anyway. All right. Back to the death stuff. Talk a little bit more about John and Kate, because nobody else seems to be. I'll call it John and Kate plus stupid, is pretty much what it is. Because apparently, John was seeing this guy. Let me dig it out. I want to get names right. Michael Jackson's fourth kid story. I thought I put it in this pile because... Oh, give me a second. Let me find it. There it is, right here. This is a couple days behind because it doesn't give the new girl's name, but on Thursday I heard that he was seen gallivanting in the Hamptons with some reporter for the Star magazine. And then she has since resigned from her post as a reporter due to a conflict of interest between her job and her relationship with John. But hey, this guy's turned into a scumbag. He had started dating Haley Glassman, who was the daughter of the plastic surgeon who performed the tummy tuck on gate, which, that's what you get for getting plastic surgery. And this girl was 22, 10 years younger than him. But anyway, it's dumb. Like this one. Let's go. The ongoing saga of the German brothels. I love German brothels. Apparently there are a lot of high up people in Germany trying to fight against these flat rate brothels. I forgot to bring my drink in. And they've launched moves to stop one brothel because they view it as inhumane for women to provide unlimited sexual services all day for one price. It sounds pretty much like the deal over there with the prostitution is kind of like the deal here with abortion. Maybe it's not so good, but ultimately, it's up to the woman. If a woman says, sure, I'll take my clothes off for $2, I'd throw them the $2. And I wouldn't feel like I was exploiting them. It's, it's helping the economy. Anyway, 77 prostitutes got together and they bought advertising space in 2 national dailies to argue that the inhumane treatment thing was a ruse to get brothels, completely banned altogether. And the headline in one of the advertisements was, "Get off our backs, no ban on brothels with or without flat rates." Maybe they should have changed that to "Get on our backs." Maybe it would have made more sense. Says under the guise of humane working conditions, they are in reality plotting to ban brothels and threaten our livelihood. So see now, if a woman says, this is my livelihood, I'm pretty sure she doesn't feel exploited. I don't know, anyway. Oh, and I finally got my question answered as to, the all you can do sex stuff. It's not like an all-day thing. They have certain hours. And for 70 euros, and it doesn't say how much that is, but I think it's around $100. It's all the sex, food, and drink they want between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So, and they say that, where is it? The operator of the Pussy Club says most customers leave after at the most 2 sessions. So, it's not like people are actually going in there and hanging out for 6, 7, 8 hours at a time, other than the girls that work there. Anyway, says this is nothing more than a moral campaign. If they look more closely at the offer, they'd see a man can get all the sexual services he wants, but not from one woman. It's pure ignorance and prejudice against the industry. And this is the oldest industry in the world. Anyway, yeah, leave the prostitutes alone. Let them do their thing, man. We should see about banning this guy in Germany. It's another story from Berlin. And Andrea you keep finding all these great stories from Berlin, Andrea. Apparently in Berlin, no, in Ludwigshafen, which is a southwestern city in Germany, apparently a 20-year-old guy went out with some friends, started drinking, and after drinking for most of the night, on the way back, going through the train station, this guy decided, it would be a hoot to climb into one of them suitcase lockers. And he did. Then he started freaking out when the air started running out and he couldn't get out. And the cops had to be called to rescue him.
They put a couple quarters in?
No, his companions couldn't open the locker, and the police came and they actually broke the door open and got the guy out. Doesn't say he was charged with anything, but he should have been charged with being stupid at the very least. Along with this guy, and I'm trying to figure out if this is the same guy from last week with the underwear in his pants. Because apparently, out of Berlin again, German police uncovered about 1,000 pair of underpants and more than 100 pairs of swimming trunks after catching a thief nabbing another 3 pairs for his collection. Oh no, this was a 46-year-old man. He was caught Sunday pinching 3 pairs of pants from a sports hall in the western town of Gelnhausen. And then when the police went to his house to search, they came across his enormous collection. A police spokesman said they were all evidently in use but had been washed and neatly stacked away. That's funny. That's funny. Where do we go from Germany? Head east. Somebody said head east. All right, yeah. Well, I guess we can do that then. I'll head east to crew call. And we've changed things up around in the studio a little bit. And I believe we show Jim first on camera 1. And on camera 3, getting ready for his shot into the booth, is Greg, as usual. See, it's nice when I got a whole crew here. It's awesome. But the 2 I have most, I keep in the glassed-in booth. That's
we
Bruce
got a
and
nice
Andrea.
shot of the back of Greg's head there while we were getting set up on that.
Well, that's
Greg
all
does
right.
an awesome job getting the camera set in here, so
Well, everybody knows what Greg's front looks like.
that's true. So now everybody gets to see Greg's back. So my hair's all trashed. But how's it going out there, Rick?
It's going good.
It's been a wild week. Them squirrels are eating us out of house and house.
So you got to stop
We're-
treating them
I
better
made
than
the
you
mistake
treat.
of feeding them already, and now they brought friends, and their friends told friends, and I got like 15, 17 of them running around. They come right up on the deck, come up to my feet, and
Yeah, and yet I show up and want to sit and visit with you on the porch for a little while.
you were
go,
scaring them, man.
Don't move. Don't get loud.
You were getting
You'll
loud.
scare
You
my
were flinging your arms
squirrels.
around. My squirrels are getting all freaked out, dude. That's not cool.
I'm going to have to get on all fours and come up out of the woods, I guess, so you pay attention to me.
We'll throw you painted.
I'll throw a peanut at you.
All right. I'll tell you, I'd rather have Andrea throw a brownie.
There you go. Maybe we can arrange that, but no, we didn't have a race this past week, so Andrea has nothing to report on. She might interject from time to time, but
Yeah, about the guy with the bikini fetish.
yeah. But they are going to Indianapolis this coming week for the Brickyard 400, so that ought to be a good show. Last year it kind of stunk because Goodyear brought the wrong compound tire, and they were wearing out so fast that about every 20 laps they had a caution. It's one of the most boring races that they'd ever run. So this year, from all reports that we'd heard, Goodyear invested almost as much in developing a good tire for this track as it would have cost to actually repave the track. So with any luck, that's a little high, darling. With any luck, they got the tire set and everything's looking good. So hopefully it's a good show this week. But we'll find out, and Andrea can report on it next week. So we're just gonna throw it back to you, bud.
All right. Thanks, man. I can't believe everybody says that swimming is good for your figure. You ever seen a whale? I'm just saying, man. Not the best looking animals on earth. Hey, all right. Apparently in India, there's like a drought or something. And they really need rain. And I thought one story about the rain was bad enough. But now I've got 2 stories from different parts of India. Apparently different superstitions. In one place, Kolkata, India, Indian farmers are marrying frogs. Yeah. Of course, they're getting warts, but no, not really. Apparently, if these villagers pooled their money to marry Sam and Sita, two frogs named after India's most revered mythological couple. And following an ancient Hindu belief, after the frogs were married, they put the little dot on their forehead. And the pair were held up in the air in a ritual in front of a traditional clay candle.
Did they pee in his hand, pee in his hand?
But apparently that's supposed to bring rain. So, I don't know. Meanwhile, in Patna, India, farmers in that part of India have asked their unmarried daughters to plow the fields naked in a bid to embarrass the weather gods. Yeah. I mean, if that's not...
That might also serve to attract the local single gentlemen.
I bet it would. The villagers believed their acts would get the weather gods badly embarrassed, who in turn would ensure bumper crops by sending rains. It's the most trusted social custom in the area, and the villagers have vowed to continue this practice until it rains very heavily. So, I mean, it won't be as good as if they were out there in little white t-shirts in the rain, but... Sorry. No one got that one. There's one you'll laugh at, though. We got like all these astronauts up in space, you know, because that's what they do now. They're going up building an amusement park up there or something. Actually, the space station. And somebody apparently asked one of the astronauts if he had any advice on people wondering how you sneeze in a spacesuit. Ever thought of that? Because things come out of you when you sneeze. The astronaut David Wolf was a veteran spacewalker. He said, aim low, off the windscreen, because it's going to mess up your view and there's no way you can fix it. The funniest thing about this story, even funnier than somebody sneezing in a spacesuit, is the fact that they are, I don't know, how far out are they? They're out there in space. And you know how that question got asked and answered? Twitter. That's right. Twitter even works in outer space. I thought outer space was going to be nice because you can't hear anybody scream. But apparently not, because the damn cell phones will still be going off with the Twitters. I also heard something about the fact that the bathroom in the space station was broken or something. So they have to like ration the number of times they can use the toilet, and the space shuttle astronauts have been banned from using the indoor toilet. They have to use the toilet on the space shuttle. Crazy.
Space shuttle pilots take a bath.
What else have we got here? Oh yeah, this is the one that drives me nuts. Apparently a Florida woman was sentenced to 14 months of house arrest because she left two kids in the car outside of a casino when she went in and gambled. Yeah, 54-year-old woman. She also got 3 years of probation. The windows were down, but the air conditioning was off. Now here's the thing that throws me. A witness said they saw a 2-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy in the car in the casino's parking lot and notified security. 14-year-old kid, he's babysitting. So he happens to be babysitting in a car. I don't see anything wrong with that. Grandmother said, hey, watch the kid. You know, if the windows were down, pretty sure the kid wasn't locked in there. It's not like locking a dog in. If the car started to heat up, the kid could have took the 2-year-old, got out of the car, walked around a little bit. You know, when Mike and I were driving truck, I woke up one day in Boomtown. Mike was nowhere to be found because he was already in the casino. He pulled in, didn't want to wake me up, so he went in. They didn't charge him for leaving me in the truck. Yeah, ain't no difference. No, see, he used to win. I used to lose. That was a bad thing. That's another bad thing. No. I'll save that till the end. We've got a new jail opening sometime soon. A lot of remarks have been made about the fact that the jail windows face the ice cream stand. Sure, because, you know, how else can you keep the pedophiles settled down unless you give them something to look at? Maybe we should take some tips from Dover, because the windows at the New Hampshire jail in Dover will be painted over to protect the public from witnessing lewd behavior from inmates. Because apparently they'd considered installing tinted windows after a parent complained that his toddler daughter saw an inmate exposing himself. And their jail is across the street from the Cocheco Valley Humane Society, where the little girl was there to buy a puppy. And she saw more than what she bargained for, apparently. But yeah, I mean, think about it. Prisoners don't need windows. It's part of the punishment. You know, don't even let them see the outside. That's all I'm saying. I do this one on Thursday. I had my question answered as to why nobody trusts the government and politicians. Because in New Jersey on Thursday, 30 people were arrested on corruption charges, money laundering charges, and racketeering. And these people that they arrested were, one of them was the mayor of Secaucus, New Jersey. There were some rabbis and other lawmakers and big hoity-toity people all involved in this money laundering and racketeering. They were selling knockoff Gucci bags. And it's nuts. And this is, I mean, it's all greed, and it's all, you know, people in high places thinking that they're better than everybody else, that they can get away with things that other people can't get away with. You know, and then if they are caught, what happens to them? Pretty much nothing. You know, they go to the fancy prisons, like Bernie Madoff. You know, he's not serving time in some shithole prison somewhere. You know, he's in, you know, they probably didn't put him in a cell with a rapist. You know, somebody like Bernie Madoff and these people here should be put in with father rapers. Really? Mother stabbers and father rapers. Should lock him up, you know? Because it's nuts. There's a story on the lighter side. Because I'm planning a trip down to Rhode Island. Apparently there's a strip joint down there with a 16-year-old stripper. And it's a loophole in the law that allows 16-year-old girls to strip. The state also allows indoor prostitution. So remember that. If you go to Providence, you go, to Warwick, you go to any place down there in Rhode Island, and you want to get a prostitute, yank her inside a Dunkin' Donuts before you ask her how much. Pretty much. As long as you're inside, it's legal. All right. And this is funny, because under their state law, the teenager who's stripping could not operate a power saw, work on ladders, or even pump gas. But she can strip. She can operate a pole. Yes. That's right. And she can even work in clubs where adult men can touch the merchandise. Yeah. Although, I haven't heard about a lot of really classy strip joints where the guys can touch. I don't know. Apparently, this girl is a 16-year-old runaway, possibly in need of a home. But, if you could help this girl out, by all means, go to Providence and do what you can. Because she makes a ton, too. Probably makes more money than I do.
Oh, boy. Probably worth it.
It probably might be. All right. I think, yeah. All right. Once again, this week on the Mom's Tattoo musical interlude from 2007, Soup Bone Throne.
Before I let them find out I'm about what I'm about. Don't think too long on things I've said. If you were close enough between the days, you see how I change. Just 'cause I'm dreaming don't mean can't touch a thing I'm seeing. And when I wake I'm the same headache that you drugged and tucked in. Outside the future while we're cooped up in the car I'm drinking. I'm living backwards and I'll need some time to let it sink in. Don't mean can't touch a thing I'm seeing. And when I wake up the same headache that you drugged and tucked in. Outside the future while we're cooped up in the bar I'm drinking. I'm living backwards and I'll need some time to let it sink in. Thank you.
Think about all the things you can stick this tasty, extraordinarily large sausage in. Pizza, pasta, stir fry. You have any ideas? Give me a call and tell me where you like to stick it. Does that sound bad? Because that's an actual advertisement in Britain. It elicited 21 complaints from listeners. Said they were offensive because of the sexual innuendo and should not have been aired when children were watching.
But it said sausage.
It did say sausage.
And they mentioned the pasta.
But,
So, just because they perverted.
well, I mean,
Well, I am too.
the company that makes the sausages says that the advertisements were intended to be tongue-in-cheek and they weren't designed to be offensive. But, I mean, is it any more offensive than the billboard that I saw for Calvin Klein with the very young girl, scantily clothed, laying on a couch with two scantily clothed guys? Tell me that's not filled with innuendo right there. You know? But I just thought that was kind of funny. Like these. These are apparently, I think, are some actual questions people have asked doctors. Such as, I've heard that cardiovascular exercise can prolong life. Is this true? Well, your heart's only good for so many beats, and that's it. So don't waste them on exercise. Everything eventually wears out. Speeding up your heart will not make you live longer. That's like saying you can extend the life of your car by driving real fast. All right, get the point? What about cutting down on meat and eating more fruits and vegetables? Apparently you don't grasp the logistical efficiencies. What does a cow eat? Hay and corn. And what are these? Vegetables. That's right. So a steak is nothing more than an efficient mechanism of delivering vegetables to your system. Need grain? Eat chicken. Beef is also a good source of field grass, which is a green leafy vegetable. And a pork chop can give you 100% of your recommended daily allowance of everything. Yeah. What about reducing alcohol intake? It's pretty much the same thing. Wine's made of fruit. Brandy is made from distilled wine. That means it's just, brandy is just a distilling. They take the water out of the fruity stuff. So it's just more fruit. And beer's made of grain. So enjoy. It's all in the triangle thing there. How can I calculate my body fat ratio? That's simple. If you got one body and you got fat, your ratio is 1 to 1. If you got two bodies, it's 2 to 1. Blah, blah, blah. On and on. What are some of the advantages of participating in a regular exercise program? I can't think of any. My motto is no pain, good. That's why I quit the damn cabinet company, because they're like work. What about fried foods? Are fried foods bad for you? Nope. Fried foods are actually good for you. Because these days, everything is fried, soaked in vegetable oil. So what's wrong with vegetables? This is a good one. Will sit-ups prevent me from getting a soft middle? Nope. Think about it. When you exercise a muscle, it gets bigger. So you should only do sit-ups if you want a bigger stomach. That's right. Is getting in shape important in my lifestyle? Hey, round is a shape. Yeah. Here's some facts. Japanese eat very little fat and suffer fewer heart attacks than Americans. Mexicans eat a lot of fat and suffer fewer heart attacks than Americans. Chinese drink very little red wine and suffer fewer heart attacks than Americans. Italians drink a lot of red wine and suffer fewer heart attacks than Americans. Germans drink beers and eat sausages and fats and suffer fewer heart attacks than Americans. So apparently you can eat and drink whatever you want because it's speaking English that kills you. All right. Let me do this because I thought this was just stupid and uppity and elitist. Is that a good word, Bruce? Elitist? Apparently in Cannes, France, authorities have banned naturists from a public beach after the town's yacht club complained that the naked sunbathers were getting out of hand. You know, this is just downright stupid. That the people at the yacht club, who have probably more money than anybody, wants to tell people on the beach who don't own boats that they can't take their clothes off.
Apparently can't even afford clothes.
Right. Well, they can afford clothes. They just prefer, you know, that when they go out in the sun, they get a little sun. Because in Cannes, you don't see people with shorts down to their ankles. You know, even fat, hairy guys in France wear Speedos. I know, it's a little sick, but that's the way they are. My point is this. If you own a damn yacht, go out to sea. You don't need to be on the beach. You don't need to be anywhere near the beach. If you've got a yacht, take it the hell out to sea where it belongs. Then you wouldn't be able to see the people on the beach. You know, let them have the beach. You've got a boat. Go somewhere else. Yeah. First-time offenders of the new law will face a fine of 11 euros, which is $15, with more serious cases possibly earning a prison sentence. Well, hey, there you go. Then they'd have to ban naked people in prison. And I'm sure that would upset quite a few people. Another short one. Because apparently, two guys in Miami spent all day riding the city's Metro Mover downtown train, carrying a 5 to 6 foot long shark and trying to sell it at fish markets. It was dead. And after they tried for most of the day, they just left it in the middle of a Miami street. Yeah, they were trying to sell the thing for around 10 bucks. They tried 3 fish markets, and nobody wanted to buy the shark. An employee at the Casablanca fish market actually told television station WSVN, "We don't buy sharks off the street." I mean, you never know. It could have been stolen or whatever. Wildlife officials later determined the animal was a nurse shark, and it could result in misdemeanor charges of improper killing and disposal of an animal, and selling a shark without a license. There's actually a shark selling license. One resident said it was a relief that it was a shark. When I first saw it, I thought it was a body because of all the shootings we had going on. So yeah, I mean, see, there's a silver lining to every cloud. Ah, it's just a shark. Thanks, Jim. Most of you by now have heard about the Cambridge police and a certain Harvard professor. I can't remember his first name, but it's Professor Gates. A black man who lives in Cambridge, professor at Harvard, who went home after work one day, the beginning of the week, and realized he didn't have his keys. So, as most of us know our own homes, we know how to get in when we lost our keys or locked ourselves out. We know which window to jimmy, or, you know, which plank to pull up to crawl in under the floor, or however you get in. Well, apparently that's what this Harvard professor did, was he jimmied his way into his own house. Meanwhile, one of the neighbors called the cops and said that there was a burglary in progress. So the cops show up. Professor Gates is already in his house, and they proceed to arrest him, even after he said that this was his house. The officer said Professor Gates got belligerent when he started to question him, which I can understand.
I would.
He was charged with disorderly conduct. If it was me, as soon as a cop came through my door, I would have shot him for trespassing. Yeah. I mean, it's a good thing the neighbors will call the cops. But when you're standing in your own house and a cop says, I think you broke into this house, and you say, here's my ID, this house belongs to me, the cop should say, I'm sorry, sir, and leave. I don't know all the facts. And that's exactly what Obama said last night when he made the comments about this case. President Obama said the Cambridge cops acted stupidly. This is from the top dog. The head cheese, the big guy, you know, leader of the free world.
The big kahuna.
The big kahuna. Yeah, we're going to get into that in a minute, because I don't think he's the big kahuna. There seems to be some
Little kahunas?
disagreement as to where he was actually born, because nobody has yet to see his birth certificate. They got a note that was signed, Barack was born in Hawaii, signed Barack Obama's mother's doctor. That's what the note said. But I watched him last night thinking that finally, you know, maybe he's giving a speech on Wednesday night. So maybe I can get a little insight, because he was supposed to talk about the health care plan. And I said, I'll get some insight, I'll have some good stuff to talk about on the show. And at the end of this little speech he gave, I still knew nothing, other than the fact that this guy seems like a real dick. You know? He talked about how we're paying for shit, you know, and how much it was going to cost. But he never said, you know, how is poor Rick Blood going to get insurance for $3 a week? He didn't say anything about that, you know? He doesn't, I mean, personally, I don't think these people in the government even have a clue as to what's wrong with the healthcare system. I know what's wrong with the healthcare system. The healthcare system's screwed up because the older that people get, the more healthcare they need. So if you have a country where everybody is in their 20s and 30s, hell, you don't even need health care. You just need a good supply of Band-Aids and aspirins. You know? Because young people are less likely to have things go wrong. The high cost of health care comes from replacing somebody who's 85 years old's hip. You know, you could give an 85-year-old guy a $10,000 hip, and sure, it makes his life a little better, but if that dude died 10 years ago, you would have just saved a crap load of money. And this is what it is. It's we've stretched life so long, and we've made, even old age, you can't even die with dignity anymore. Because by the time you die, you've gone through 10 years of suffering and slowly deteriorating away. People don't die with dignity anymore. And everybody talks about risks. Risks. Rick, you had a heart attack. You got to quit smoking. Bullshit. I don't have to quit smoking. Maybe I should quit walking across the street because I could get hit by a car. Maybe I should not walk the streets at night because I could get shot. Maybe I shouldn't ride a bicycle. Maybe I shouldn't ski. Well, I know a lot of people that have died from skiing. One of the Kennedys died from skiing. He probably didn't even smoke, but he's still dead. The food you eat, it's low on the risk factor. That's the problem. The human body will take so much, no matter how bad you treat it, for so long. There comes a time when just naturally you die. That's the way it goes. If you got rid of all doctors, maybe life would actually mean something to people. Maybe some of these greedy, my life is all that there is kind of people would lighten up, loosen the damn tie once in a while. Not be such a prick for a change. Because life is precious. And there's no second chance. There's no, that's it. There's no second chance. When you drop, that's it. Everybody should be do not resuscitate. Because we could be busy right now plugging that little damn Gidget Taco Bell dog into a whole bunch of wires and pumps and shit and keep that dog alive for a while. He's only 15. That's young for a dog. I don't know. But that's, on top of the fact that we're stretching life, the other problem with our healthcare system is greed. It's the fact that everybody wants to walk around, and go, I'm a doctor. I live in a nice $5 million house. It's stupid. If you're a doctor, you should live, in one of the lowest rent places because you should be a mess. You should be caring about people, not about dead presidents. If you're a doctor, you care about the living, not the dead. So, if you're going to go, and, nobody forced you to become a damn doctor. That's what I can't get. All these people that bitch and piss and moan about their jobs and how much money they make or don't make, and, they've got to have the golden parachute. No. They chose that. People that work at AIG, they chose to work at AIG. People that work at Chrysler, they chose to work at Chrysler. So when Chrysler goes out of business, maybe they decide, geez, maybe I didn't make a very good choice. But I don't know, you can't get a CEO or one of these high muckety-muck people to say they didn't make a good choice. Because it bruises the ego. That's what it is. And these people, if Donald Trump lost everything overnight, he wouldn't be the same guy. You can guarantee he wouldn't be the same guy. He would probably kill himself. You take somebody like that who's used to having it all, and it's like the movie Trading Places. Take the rich guy and make him poor. Take the poor guy and make him rich. And you'll see the identities just switch. The poor guy turns into the rich guy turns into the poor guy. And that's all. But healthcare is not about, I mean, I have always never carried health insurance as a choice. I don't carry health insurance because I can't justify spending 50 to 60 bucks a week or a month when I only go to the doctors, not very often. When I had my heart attack, the last time I had actually been to see a doctor was like 6 years ago. Look at all those wasted payments. I mean, it would be one thing if I was a daredevil and I was in the hospital all the time. I was like Evel Knievel or somebody. I could see having health insurance. But I try not to do anything to get hurt. Because, like I already said, I don't like pain. I'm not a pain guy. I'm a crier. Yeah. But anyway, Cambridge Police, that guy, healthcare. But I don't know. It's the same thing. Obama's like, I don't know. I was starting to think after last week's episode when I was mentioning the fact that Obama has spent 14% of his presidency outside the country. Isn't that like taxation without representation? I mean, if you got a president that's not in the country, isn't that like not good? He's like an absentee landlord at that point. I'm just saying. I don't think it's right. I don't think this is right either. All right, now I won't do those. Although this is kind of cool because we have the first camel milk chocolates are going global. They're going to expand to the United States. And somewhere here, it doesn't say who's going to sell it in the United States, but they're chocolates made with camel's milk. Yeah, not camel-shaped, not cigarettes.
How do you milk a camel?
Same way you milk anything else. You got to pull on the little things. All the chocolates are produced without preservatives or chemical additives with a range of locally popular spices, nuts, and honey. And camel milk contains 5 times more vitamin C than cow milk, less fat, less lactose, and more insulin, making it a good option for diabetics and a lactose intolerant. So, hey, you get yourself a camel, start milking, and you'll probably be healthier. Healthcare costs still won't go down, but you may be healthier. All right. Let me get a couple of these.
1 minute.
All right, perfect. Got 1 minute to look around here. Central Park opened in 1876 and is nearly twice the size of the entire country of Monaco. That's kind of cool. The 102-story Empire State Building, completed in 1931, is made up of more than 10 million bricks and has 6,500 windows. It was built at a cost of $40,948,900, which is still less than that guy paid for cigarettes over at the coast last week. All right. Up next, Fred Parcells joins Randy for No Spin. I don't know who their guest is. Thank my crew, Bruce and Andrea, Greg and Jim. Thank sponsor Mom's Tattoo. Till next week.
Stop. There are kids watching. That's no way to teach kids how to behave.